Hey, this is Grant Brissett on the Hub in New Mexico talking about Christian apologetics. Well, Christian apologetics is knowing what we believe and why we believe it. And one of the toughest things to talk about is the Trinity, the deity of Christ. These are tough topics to talk about with Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons. They can be very, very challenging. But here's how we're going to defend it. I'm going to try this in two parts. I'm not going to talk about Bible verses right now. I'm going to do that in part 2. But in part 1, I want to talk about how to defend the Trinity. Now, what we're going to have to do first of all is we're going to have to differentiate how the Trinity is true and that the Trinity is true. How the Trinity is true, we may not understand in the same way that I don't understand the gear ratios in my truck. But I know that it runs, I know that it turns on. So in order to defend the Trinity, all we have to do is defend that it is true. And it is true, we are going to show, biblically. The Bible, as you know, is special revelation as opposed to natural revelation. Through natural revelation, I believe we can understand that there is a God, but we're not going to understand the Trinity until we understand that the Bible teaches the Trinity. So the very first point that we have to get is we don't need to defend exactly how the Trinity is true, how they are three persons in one. We just need to understand and defend that it is true and show it in the Bible. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that with 4 things. Number 1, there is one and only one God. And number 2, there are 3 persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, who are God. That's it. The biblical teaching of the Trinity is based on 2 teachings. Number 1, there is only one God. And number 2, there are 3 persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, who are God. So it all comes down to this. If we can show in the Bible that there's only one God, and if we can show that the Father is God, the Son is God, and the Holy Spirit is God, you have the model of the Trinity. Now, let's take it a step beyond that. Also, we need to understand that the Son of God, the second person of the Trinity, took on a human nature. That means the second person of the Trinity has 2 natures, a God nature and a man nature. So it is completely accurate to say Jesus is a man and Jesus is a God. He is fully man, fully God. So when the Jehovah's Witnesses come to my door and they try to show me a lot of verses that say Jesus is a man, I agree with them. And I say that does not negate or contradict the Trinity. And when I say that, they look at me funny because they haven't heard that before. They don't understand exactly what the Trinity is. Okay? So when you ask something about Jesus, you need to have 2 things in mind. Did Jesus get hungry? In his manhood, yes. In his deity, no. Did Jesus get tired? In his manhood, yes. In his deity, no. Okay? So let me repeat what I've said because very, very important that we understand how to defend the Trinity and the deity of Christ and the fact that Jesus has a fully divine nature and a man nature also. Okay? So we only need to defend the Trinity when it is true biblically. We don't have to exactly explain how it's true. I don't have to understand how my CPU works in my computer or my laptop to understand that it works. I just have to understand that it works. And the same thing's true with the Trinity. I don't have to explain exactly how there are 3 persons in one Godhead. I just have to be able to demonstrate and explain that it is a biblical truth that there is one and only one God and that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are God. And in addition to that, it gets very helpful because quickly this is going to go into a discussion about Jesus. The second person of the Trinity took on a human nature so that Jesus has a fully divine nature and a fully human nature. Well, this is Grant Brissett talking about understanding how to talk about the Trinity. Thank you.